Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing Selling Sunset, the final 2 episodes. So hopefully my voice makes it through. This is the 3rd episode I'm recording on Monday. So hopefully my voice stands up here while we do it. So again, for our Netflix binges, we don't do any ads, we don't do any hot goss. We're just jumping right in to the episode. So, Selling Sunset, Season 8, Episode 10, World War Bree, because y'all want to start with her. So let's get into it. So, we're at a listing with Nicole, Alana, and Mary. Full disclosure, I think these episodes are going to be a little shorter, so just bear with me. The fact that a fight broke out at the funeral isn't right, which I agree with. Mary was definitely appalled by it. And Alana asks about the whole Emma drama, like, has that been dealt with? Has that been, Nicole, what's the status? And Nicole says, like, full disclosure, I didn't take your advice. But she's like, it feels a little hypocritical that Emma is supporting Chelsea. She does think she has kind of an idea of what's going on with Chelsea, even though that hasn't been confirmed. But she does think that it's kind of hypocritical that Emma is supporting Chelsea through this. Because she's most likely had sex with a married man. Could tell you that. Felt that the way Nicole was talking previously, but I agree with her. Personally, for me, if I'm currently not married, but if I was still, and I have a friend who potentially was involved with a married man, like, that would piss me off. Like, I may not necessarily end the friendship, but it's definitely going to make me think differently about you, especially when going through potentially a divorce, which, spoiler alert, they are now currently going through a divorce. So, like, that's a lot. So we were at the office, and I think we were all here, but I think we're all here because Jason wants to show off his new car, his Ferrari. And when he gets there, Chelsea and Emma go into the Ferrari together, and he's not concerned. He's like, oh, they're not gonna be able to start the car. They're not gonna be able to put it into gear. And doesn't she not, Emma, put it into gear and just drives off? And he's like, what the hell? And he's standing outside being like, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please don't crash the car. And yeah, he was not all concerned, because even like Brett's like, you're not concerned they're gonna be able to drive off in that car? He's like, no, I'm not gonna be able to drive off. They can't put it in gear. And then she puts it in gear. That's what's fantastic. But then they do the team meeting, and there's nothing really to talk about from the team meeting this time around. But then we're at a house with Chrishell, and we're with Melanie, who we saw in the beginning of the season. So if you remember, I didn't really talk about it too much in the beginning of the season. They were looking at a house that she said that she couldn't buy until she was able to sell the other house that she currently had in her possession, which is this house that they're at currently. And this house, I think, is in Bel Air, and it's a little different than the houses you usually see in this particular area. It's a modern home, where a lot of them are not really modern. And she wants to sell the house for $22 million, which Chrishell feels is a little bit steep. She doesn't think that the house would sell for that much. And she does kind of suggest that, you don't want to have the house on the market just sitting there for 6 months not selling. It would be better to just go at it in like the 1999, which she's not happy about. She says no. Because of that little pesky mansion tax, she wants to sit at that $22 million, which would put the house over $2,000 per square foot, which she says that the square footage of houses in this area is about 1,500. So yeah. But the other thing that kind of is brought up here is when she talks about this with Jason and Mary, they kind of have different perspectives on how to handle this, but they both kind of come into the fact of, listen, Jason says, let her go to a different agent, have them not sell his house, and then she comes back to you. And then Mary's perspective is like, do it at the amount she says she wants to do it, but put in like a 90-day thing. Like if it doesn't sell in 90 days, then you do price reduction. I guess I feel like this is a storyline we're going to see again come back next season. So we'll see. But, we're at Amanza's art show. She has an art show going on, and her pieces are actually really good, really expensive. Never able to afford them, but they're really good. Um, and when Emma was touching the sculpture, I'm screaming in my mind, don't touch the sculpture. Don't touch anything in an art gallery. You're supposed to look, not touch. So Chrishell and Emma have not talked to Chelsea since the awkward funeral situation. And she does get there, and it's a little awkward between them. So anyway, but back to that meeting that I was talking about before with Mary, Chrishell, and Jason. And Mary's like, yes, Chelsea, my skirt is short, but I'm meeting friends, not clients. So, but then we, talk about the fight at the funeral. And Chrishell talks about kind of what's kind of happening, but coded, not saying exactly what the issues are. But now there's this divide that Chrishell feels she kind of has to choose which way she's going. And I wrote, but why do you have to do that? I'll tell you why in a little bit. Then we got Bree and Amanda at a listing together. And they're playing, okay, they do play ping pong, but this ping pong table isn't practical. This ping pong table is glass. That ping pong could just go right through the goddamn glass. Not practical. Not at all. But anyways, whatever. The primary suite itself is 600 square feet. Why do you need to have a 600 square foot primary bedroom? Insane to me. But then we kind of talk the drama. And Bree says, I wish I never said anything. Apparently Chelsea will, now they're kind of contemplating, oh, why could he have ever cheated on her? Which it doesn't matter what she's doing. That does not mean she should have been cheated on because of it. But there is always that saying, and I believe of it again as a person who has been cheated on, that not to say that you deserved it or some shit, right? But each party has a place in why the other person cheated. There is always something. Maybe that's theirs. Because I wouldn't want to go out with my friends all the time and not be home with my husband and my kids. Like, I'd want to be with them. But again, she's also really young. She's 30. She met him young. They had kids young. She didn't live her life. So there's also that. It's just like, maybe you guys moved too quickly. Like, I don't know. But, I don't know. But Bree kind of says here that, she would go out all the time, like every night, kind of. Then they start talking about Alana Alana is a little bit vanilla in comparison to everybody else in this office. She is like, what was that girl's name that would always pop up every so often that we don't see anymore? The Dana, so whatever her name is, every time she would pop up in the last days, I'm like, oh, look. She's kind of like her, just vanilla. She is. But like, Amanda, you don't know her. And Brie, why are you saying that? Like, Alana is nice. Like, anyways. And basically Brie ends us off by kind of saying Chelsea is playing checkers with someone who plays chess. I'll put that on a t-shirt. Anyway, that's basically it for episode 10. We have one more episode to go through. Again, it is going to be pretty short because there's not much really happening towards the end of these episodes, but we're going to get through that. So we're going to have one break, just the one, because we only got 2 episodes in this episode. And when we come back, we will jump into the final episode. And I am back, so let's jump into the final episode of Selling Sunset. And that is episode 11, Burning Down the House. So we're at a house with the guys and Mary and Alana as well. And in this house, they have the first Apple computer, the Apple II computer. If you want to know more about that, go over and listen to. Well, I don't know if I'll actually capture the final episode. Not the final episode, the bonus episode. But if you head over to the bonus episode, you want to learn more about that. Me and Mikkel actually talk about the evolution of technology, and we talked about the evolution of computers, and this was discussed in that episode. So that was really crazy, kind of seeing it like that. So yeah, if you're curious and you want to learn more, head over to the September bonus episode, which would have been released on October 1st. And there you can find the what am I going to say? The episode link to it, and then you can take a listen to. It's very interesting to see this, but this house is kind of very like, that kind of stuff, kind of decor is the kind of stuff you're seeing in this house. But this is also the house we kind of saw a glimpse of it before too, where like the lights are like this weird, like it looks like a skirt, honestly, and it kind of goes up and down by themselves. It's actually a light in them, which is really cool. But everyone else also shows up to the house as well. And Chrishell is going into the bathtub because in this house, the bathroom was actually featured, I think, on the Vanity Fair magazine, the front cover, because this bathroom costs in and of itself $1 million. Jesus. It's a very interesting bathroom. But Chrishell's going into the bathtub and it's like, oh, here, let me just turn that on real quick for you. And he actually turns it on. And she's like, Jason, some expensive designer that she's wearing. But Nicole talks to Brie about the rumors and everything kind of surrounding Chelsea and everything like that. And Nicole says, Emma, she's got to be really careful in her position. And she tells Brie what she knows about her potentially sleeping with a married man. And not just potentially, because Nicole's got she's got some receipts. Nicole knows someone who actually confronted Emma about having a friend in common. Let's just say that. That friend in common being the husband, most likely. And Brie's like, I love a little bit of ammo. Don't we all? Anyway, so we see, I think it's Brie at the office. And she's walked to the office. She's like, I broke my Louis. And she's like, I feel so helpless right now. And she's gorilla gluing the heel back on because, like, it's a Louis Vuitton. So Amanza comes into the office and she's like, I sold all of my art. And not only that, on top of that, because I'm kind of teeing this up a little bit, her listing that she had gifted to her from Jason ended up canceling the listing and wants to actually lease it. And because of that, plus how the art show went really well, she's questioning whether or not she's meant to be in real estate. I think our days with Amanza on the show is numbered. I don't want it to be. I really like Amanza, but I think it's a little numbered. So Jason's talking about this house that he's now acquired that was actually belonged to Kanye West. My guy went into that house and removed everything. That now this thing is a shell. Okay. And he wants to sell this shell of a house for $53 million. Oh my God. That's because Kanye's broke. I mean, I don't know if Kanye's still broke. I know at one point he was and asked people to do a GoFundMe for him. But what? This? Everyone's like, what? It's not a house, it's bones. It would be $10,000 per square foot. The fuck? They think because just the fact that it was Kanye West's house would sell it. Okay, sure. So we're at Chrishell's potential listing, and Chelsea does show up. And Chelsea here tells her that she didn't feel like Chrishell, like, had her back. And I wrote, like, how did she not have your back? We're going to go back and forth a little bit here, because then we are with Amanza and Mary. And Amanza doesn't, this is where she says again, I don't feel like real estate is it for me anymore, but there's not much else to really say about that. We are at Chelsea's at a listing that she is meant to be for a client, but I saw the way she looked at this house and I'm like, this would be perfect for her. So we're with Chrishell and Emma, and Bree is going to be there too. Oh shit. No, she's not. She decided last minute, I ain't coming. So she ain't coming. Then we see her with Amanda going to the office, wanting to talk to Jason about Amanda becoming a part of the O group. I knew it. I knew it. We were seeing too much of her for her to not be a part of the O group at some point. And I can't remember who it was that was there. Alana. And she tells Alana and that this is what she's kind of hoping to do. And she's like, do you work with a brokerage currently? Or like, and she kind of said she does things on her own. And maybe she's looking for a brokerage to come home to. Oh boy. Meanwhile, we're with also Chrishell and Emma and Chelsea, and basically makes her, actually might have happened before, and kind of makes her kind of feel like she has to pick a side, like Rochelle has to pick a side. This is the part for me that drove me insane. Don't sit here and say you're okay to have friendships with whomever you want to have friendships with if that's not true. Own it. If you don't want these people to be friends with Bree, just fucking say so. And at the end of the day, even if you do say so, that's not a friend. And that's not a friend who's supposed to be an adult. We're not in high school. I don't have to be friends with your friends or not be friends with the people you're not friends with. I'm allowed to have friends with whomever I want to have friends with. You don't have to be friends with that person. And again, all of this facilitated by Emma. And I really wanted a reunion for this season, but I guess we're not getting it. Maybe we'll get it for next season, which I imagine is probably going to come soon, fairly soon enough, because I think they usually film 2 seasons together at the same time. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But it's just like, I'm frustrated with these women because what did Bree do? Really? Now Bree is starting shit and I kind of love it. Start it. Do it. Who cares? Because there's no one. They want to see bad bitch Bree, then let them see bad bitch Bree. Like she said, you want to act like a bitch, then I'll act like a cunt. And that's exactly what she's doing. I love it. Do it. And Chrishell shouldn't have to be put in a position where she feels that she has to pick. Emma's made her choice. So it is what it is. But if Chrishell is like, I'm going to be friends with both of you, then let her do that. She shouldn't have to pick. And as far as I'm concerned, that's not a friend. Despite what Chelsea is going through. That's not fair. Anyway, that's basically it. Again, I knew this episode was going to be a little short. But again, like there's not as much to talk about in these last few episodes usually because it's winding down, but it's an interesting cliffhanger to see how things are going to turn out with Amanda. It's going to be really interesting. But that is it for this episode, and that is it for this season. How do I feel about the season? The season was really good. I enjoyed it. It was a lot with Nico and everything like that, and obviously we're talking about real heavy, real life shit in this season with Chelsea's divorce. Or at this point, I don't know if she probably hadn't yet filed, but pending divorce. It's a lot of real life stuff happening. And of course, there was a lot of drama. It's definitely picked up. I loved seeing Maya. Maya's absolutely still my favorite person because she's the real person that we had on the season ever. So, or the series. And yeah, but it was a really good season. You know, I thought it was decent. And we'll see what the next season has to bring us when we get to that. But that is it for the season, and that is it for this episode. Oh, before I actually say that is fully it, I realized I didn't say what to expect next. The next episode that you can expect, it will be The Other Way. You can expect that one is coming next. By the time this comes out, the other episode would have been already out. So it's going to be episode 13 of The Other Way. So last week's episode, that will be the next episode that you get. So yeah, that's the next one that you can expect to have. And that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.